Hi golfers, Rob Cheney here from GOLFTEC Singapore. Today's video we're going to discuss the follow through, the finish, why is it important, and a drill that you can use to help you to finish just like the pros.
Swing. That was a good swing.
Before we get into today's video, I want to say a huge congratulations to Alex Cheika for his back-to-back Champions Tour major victories, and to my good friend Andy Plummer and David Tarashi for their work with Alex on his swing over the past few years. I think it's validation of the stack and tilt system, and it's fantastic to see stack and tilt back in the winner's circle with 2 major championships under its belt. So one more time, congratulations to Alex, and here's to the grid life. So one of the less discussed areas of the swing is the finish or the follow through. And I think that's because most people don't realize it matters. They think the ball's already gone, they've finished their swing, what more could be done by changing the way they do their follow through. But I'm here to tell you that that's not true. The finish is incredibly important. Done videos about this in the past, I've spoken to you directly about that. There are some very key features to the follow through, and there's a real reason why the pros end up finishing the swing and looking somewhat similar when they do that. They have their weight forward, they're balanced, they have their hips forward, they have their spine extended. There's a reason that the guys and the girls on tour and the best golfers that you see finish the swing in the way they do. And today I want to share with you a drill that's going to help you to be able to learn that skill, learn to finish more effectively, which ultimately will improve your ball striking and overall consistency. So a good finish position looks something like this, where a golfer has their weight forward, their hips are forward, their arms tend to be pretty straight. You don't see golf professionals swinging through, flexing their arms and bending and showing the old chicken wing on the follow through. Weight forward, arms straight, balanced. Don't often see good golfers falling around at the end of their swing or swinging through so violently that they spin off their feet. There's a reason for that, either consciously or just through trial and error. Good golfers have discovered and learned how to finish the swing efficiently. Remember, this club swinging driver, you might be able to swing anywhere from 70, 80 miles an hour all the way up above and beyond 100 miles an hour. You think about the amount of speed that's in that club head as you're swinging it, you've got to slow it down. You've got to learn to slow the club down from 100 miles an hour to 0 miles an hour in a very, very short period of time. And I don't think that gets discussed enough. I don't think people really appreciate or even give any thought to that fact that you need to be able to slow this club down, and the way that you move allows your body, your limbs, your wrists to be able to absorb that speed, slow the club down and finish in a balanced, predictable, repeatable way. Great exercise for you to learn the feel of good follow through motion is to take one of these alignment sticks, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. If you're not, you can easily pick these up at a hardware store or a golf shop for that matter. Setting up on a mat like I am here, I'm just angling this stick behind me. Because it's quite long, it's longer than a driver would be, I'm just able to position it somewhere back behind the golf ball or behind my trail foot, with my hands very much in a conventional location in front of me. So I've got this stick angled fairly extremely here. And what I'm going to ask you to do as a drill is to move this stick or drag this stick along the ground, take it all the way along the mat and all the way up to the finish where the stick is pointing up towards the sky. And the only way that you're allowed to move this stick is through the way you move your pelvis and your spine, your shoulders, not by independently moving your arms or your wrists. So you're only allowed to move this through hip slide and then spinal extension up into the finish. So throughout the entirety of this exercise, you're keeping your arms straight. You're keeping your arms straight, You're moving your weight forward. My hips are moving forward the whole time here. Moving the stick along the entirety of the mat. My chest is pointing up. My arms are straight. And throughout the whole of this drill, with this stick dragging along the ground, my head is staying in its original position. So I'm not dragging this stick forward and moving my head forward. If I did that, I wouldn't be able to get the stick away from the ground without bending my arms. That's the exact reason most of you flex your arms, because when you swing through, you retain too much of this forward bend in your body, so your chest is down. The only way you can get this club away from the ground is to start chicken winging and flexing your limbs, otherwise the club would just smash into the ground. So if you did this exercise and retained too much forward bend and moved your head forwards, the stick would never get away from the ground without you flexing your arms. And we've already said you're not allowed to flex your arms. So arms straight, stick back behind you, keep your arms straight, and the only thing you're allowed to do to move this stick up away from the ground is to push your hips forward, straighten your legs and extend your spine. So now my chest is pointing up to where the stick is also pointing. Start out slow and then begin to do some faster reps where you just feel that sensation of dragging the stick along the mat and extending your body up into this follow through position. Note all of my weight is forwards. My pelvis and my hips are the most forward. My belt buckle is the farthest forward point of my body at this point in time. And my chest, my spine is extended slightly backwards. Those are the checkpoints that you're looking for when you're doing this drill. And then when you think you've got the hang of that and you've done a few of those quite quickly with the stick and you're beginning to get a sensation for that finish, grab a wedge, just a short club with lots of loft on it. Go ahead and you'd hit balls trying to make these small little swings. Don't swing back any further than P2, that's shaft parallel on the backswing. Small little backswing, and then all of that momentum and feel that you've got from the drill comes into play. You're going to pretend you're still dragging the stick, keeping the arms straight, moving the hips forward, finishing with the chest up. Okay, so that will look very similar to the way that I did the exercise. These balls are not designed to go far. These swings are not designed to be full swings. Certainly not in the beginning when you're learning the form. Part of the reason that you struggle so much to have any sort of consistent ball flight and any sort of consistent finish is because you're flailing at this ball with no control, your arms flexing, your wrists flexing. So much of this is fleeting and comes and goes, and you have such an inconsistent consistency to your game. What we're looking to establish here for you is some control and build in some structure. So these drills are designed to build some true form, some real changes to the way you move. So doing these exercises to begin with slowly is important. One more time, back to P2, shaft parallel with the ground, no further. Just very, very, very small swing. Now I'm going to use that feeling of my hips pushing up and my chest bending backwards to achieve that follow through that I'm looking for. Perfect. That's gone 50 meters. 50 meters with a wedge, 55 yards, with a very, very small swing. The goal would be, and the sensation that I use when I teach this drill, is to first of all get the form right. But once you've got that form, try to then start hitting the ball as far as you can with this short backswing. Because what that teaches you is how to transition the power out of this very, very short backswing and use your legs and use your body correctly to move this club quickly through the hitting area while maintaining those straight arms, keeping the structure of your swing and enabling you to make some more consistent contact. Okay, so there's an indication and an explanation of how to do that drill, to build the pieces that every single good player has in their follow through. So guys, there you have a drill that is very specific to building good form in the follow through. How to transition that club and your body that's bent forwards towards the ground, how to move it into a position where from impact into the follow through, you go from being bent forward to being bent backwards, and how that's to be done correctly. It's a specific drill. It should be done slowly to begin with to build the correct form, and then progressively adding the speed so that you don't just learn the motion, which is important, you start to learn to do it with some speed. I would encourage you to start out with just the stick, building the motion, and then, as I say, grab a wedge, something with a bit of loft on it, and just hit those really short, little punchy shots, focusing on good form in the follow through. I've discussed the importance of the follow through in previous videos. You can go and check this one out here. I think the importance of the follow through cannot be overstated. It's difficult for some people to get their head around. I have a lot of conversations with students who can't quite understand or imagine the importance of the follow through, but how you finish and what your follow through looks like tells us a lot about what preceded that event. So we can learn a lot from your follow through and understand what happened before that, and what happened before that is clearly going to influence impact. So to give yourselves a chance to embrace the idea that the follow through is, number one, very important, and number two, as a destination and a place to get to, focusing on the follow through can really clear your mind to allow you to make freer backswings and downswings if all you're really focusing your attention on is where to finish. Guys, as always, thank you very much for watching this week's video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do click that subscribe button and jump on board. The growing community is exciting for me. It's great to have so many more people joining every week. I look forward to getting to that next milestone of 20,000 followers. Who would have believed it? Until next time, guys, any questions, do post them in the box below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you again very soon for another video.